suit. This was the color she'd wanted right away from the catalog's many choices, warm and bloomy. "Good morning," the woman doctor called, and descended the stairs to press George and Irene's joined hands. George broke his grip then to reach up the stairs and greet the man doctor, still a few steps up, as if sealing some bargain. "How was the drive?" asked the woman doctor. "I tried to take the corners slow, for her stomach," said George. "What a good sign," the woman doctor said. Irene peered into her face. Not a perfect mirror, no. Something similar about their chins and the hard set of their mouths, the lift of their eyebrows. But this woman's eyes were blue where Irene's were wheat-colored, and Irene's hair was darker. And of course the doctor was older, too. How old? Older than Irene's own age, 28, but much younger, she thought, than her mother. In that middle territory, what happened to a childless woman? Irene had begun finding out for herself. Kitchens and bedrooms and living rooms full of screaming quiet. Sun on carpets, rain on doorsteps. Quiet so loud she could hear nothing else. But she wondered if, for this woman doctor, it might be different. "Very promising," said the man doctor. He had charm, but there wasn't much to wonder about him. The doctors led the Willards up. Stairs brought out the sluggish drag of the weight at Irene's center, and even here she didn't like this awareness, which had never led anywhere good before. Her body had over and over proven itself a liar. She'd started to suspect this might just be a new uncovering of a trait it had always had. As they fed themselves in, one by one, Irene had time to notice that up close the marble of the house was in fact veined like skin. Twin mahogany desks stood within the doctor's study, a line in two segments whose edges did not quite meet. The doctors bulwarked behind and left George and Irene to chairs in front, as if they were disobedient students. Only Irene had been such a student. She and George had been in school together, and though she knew he loved her already, he'd never understood why she had to say just one word too much. Why she had to twist her mouth, raise her eyebrow, poison the milk of someone else's dumb joy. "It makes me feel delicious," she'd said to him back when she could say to him anything she wanted. She'd faced many people across many desks, and each time thought, well, talk, 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 talk. What can you do to me? You can't touch me. Except the doctors could. She'd begged them to. The only other time they'd all met, when Irene had been a robed patient on their examination table, he and she had lifted her arms at the same moment to take her pulse, neither of them noticing the duplication because each was talking to George. In these cases, her body at that moment occupied the physical space of the doctor's marriage. As an omen, how could that be bad? She'd felt suddenly able to meet George's eyes with ease. Here she was, winning fallow ground, so ready, once they chose her and set about solving whatever her trouble was, to produce every baby he'd come back from overseas wanting. These doctors had solved this trouble with other women. They were the only ones solving it. All she had to do was make them choose her. Then they tipped her back on the table and put a cold, slick metal instrument inside her and peered with a light at some sore region deep within, and she'd felt the ache like a name that she'd been trying to remember. Oh, there it is. In spite of herself, though, Irene was starting to feel less sure now. No person she'd faced across the desk had ever, in the end, succeeded in shaping her in any corrective fashion. George reached across the space between their chairs to take her hand again, and she let him. Poor, sweet, wondrous George, who had also failed in so many ways. "Are there any questions Dr. Bishop and I can answer before your examination?" the man doctor asked softly, considerately, as if they were fragile, or maybe his voice was just soft. Irene watched George, noticing. George still had ideas about men left over from football. She hoped the man doctor's handshake had been firm. "Aren't you married?"